adult beverages are poured, the kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 1-year-old.
My name is Gavin, and I have a 1-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I got a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old.
It has been another week. We did it. Made it. Three dads still survive, but for how long?
Yeah, this is like our time capsule. It's just how many you can count the gray hairs as they come in.
Yeah. It's basically it's Thunderdome. It's like dad enter when dad leaves.
We pour one out to dear departed dad today.
Yeah,
kids were too much, and well, he hasn't been heard from.
Went out for cigarettes. Doesn't smoke, but went for cigarettes. Just didn't come back.
he's gone.
Living the good life. We save nothing but like a box full of sand and shells. So, gentlemen, how was your week in fatherhood and gaming?
Jeff, you're welcome to start if you want.
My week was pretty boring, honestly. Nothing happened with the kids, which is actually, I guess it's good. Nothing happened, nothing crazy. So everybody's happy, healthy, which is fine. Gaming wise, little slight twist. Well, not twist, but my son and I were watching. Sometimes we watch gameplay videos on YouTube. Like he likes to watch like Mario and Zelda and stuff like that.
He likes to watch gameplay videos with you?
Yeah,
That's
which
awesome.
is kind of neat. And I have to you have to kind of be there with them anyway. To some of the YouTubers tend to, get a little upset, start swearing away. So I picked the parent safe or kid safe ones. But we discovered, which is awesome, and I can't stop watching, this 80-year-old grandmother that plays Skyrim. Did you see that?
I know.
Oh my god!
Especially, what milestone did she just pass? Was it her 80th birthday or just like a 1,000th video?
It was just her 1-year anniversary of starting the channel, and then it was on Reddit,
amazing.
and everyone subscribed because I saw it, and it was on my like previewed YouTube thing. So I showed Jude a little bit of it, not the Skyrim stuff, but some other games she's played. And she's hilarious, and it's such an old woman playing. Like it's so slow and thorough, and she's like making up parts of the narrative that aren't necessarily there. One in particular scene, I'll just do it quick, but in the beginning, there's one mission I've done where you have to go and get a golden claw, and it's from like Bleak Falls Barrow or whatever, the one in the snowy mountains. So she goes up there, she kills these bandits that are inside, and she's like, "Oh, what are you gonna give me here? Oh, 8 gold. Oh, I'll take your gold. And what about your other friend over here? Oh, 16. He had more money than you. He must have been saving." And then she goes deeper into the cavern, and you can loot all of the dead corpse like urns and stuff, and they're all empty. And she's like, "Well, the bandits must have stolen from them, but that's okay. I killed them and stole from them, so I've got the bandits' money."
Wow.
Okay. But I'm just sitting there, just like,
amazing.
I'm hanging on to every word. You're making up your own stuff. I love it. Keep going.
That's adorable. Okay. I knew of her, like I'd seen it like on a news thing or something, but like
Yeah, Shirley Curry, great.
Shirley Curry. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see if we can link to it in the show notes, because that's so especially for a kid to be like watching grandma. It's like, yay, it's a visit with grandma, except it's hilarious.
It's all
gaming.
calming. Yeah, it's like she's not gonna like swear at the screen or anything. So
she's like the Bob Ross of gameplay videos.
Yes.
Oh,
she would love that. I'm sure she'd love that. She calls her viewers their grandkids. It's amazing.
That's amazing.
I love it.
I like that it gives us hope. Of like
your grandkid.
Yeah.
There's some part of me that always worries that like even still we'll get to an age and it's just like, and now we're done with childish things and we're no longer going to play video games. Like it'll be done. Yeah. Like we'll turn 50 and like, all right, well now I'm done.
It really depends if you're the type of person who categorizes things as childish. Like I think that's the threshold. Like if you just never care to do that, then like you're safe. Like I'm part of fatherhood that excites me the most is playing with the toys. Like I am just counting down the days till we get to like Mega Bloks and Duplo. Like I'm just like come on, we're almost there. you know, and just those sorts of things. So I think, and it's not because like I still play with Lego and I collect figures and toys and stuff. I play video games unapologetically. Um, and like I think it's becoming more and more socially acceptable because it's one of those things where it's like, you know, and they said that the meek inherited the earth, but they just had a typo. It was actually the geek inherited the earth. And you know, it's yeah, I think it's one of those things where the idea of childish things is starting to dissipate because I think too it's the millennial generation being too terrified to become adults that it's becoming socially acceptable to have childish things in your life because a lot of people are keeping that in their life quite actively, sometimes to a fault. You know, if it gets in the way of you learning how to boil water and cook an egg thoroughly, then maybe you should put down the Game Boy just long enough to learn a new skill. You know, hit save, you get back to it. But yeah, I don't know that whole put down the childish
Yeah.
things. I will raise my cardboard sword in the air and shout nay. Never.
Yeah, and I was a bit flippant. Those are all great points. I was a little bit flippant in phrasing it like that. I think more just there's still some part of me that assumed that perhaps as I would age, maybe it would fall off. Like for other hobbies, are just I'm not interested anymore. And then, but every now and
Yeah,
then you
it's
hear
the
about
interest thing, whether it's like
Yeah.
whether your digging of it dissipates. You know, your appetite for it dissipates rather than like you actively setting it aside out of some sense of obligation, but rather the like, will I pass this up for another hobby? You know, whether it be gardening or carpentry or what have you, but like whether natural aging makes you sort of gravitate towards something else that's um, less playful, I guess is a good way of describing it, rather than like, you know, childish or something, but like whether you go to less playful things and things that are a little bit more uh, skill in the sense of like applied knowledge based skill as opposed to like problem solving or reflex skill. Um, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
that is it is a good point because like there could be a moment where that sort of dissipates.
seeing these like grannies play, and there's a couple stories every now and then I'll see. There's a great stream where this guy had a written letter correspondence with his grandfather, who was going through. Geez, it might have been Skyrim itself, or it might have been Call of Duty. I doubt it was Call of Duty, honestly. But either way, he was like writing these like missives. It's like, oh well, today I had gone through this other part here, and I found this part a little slower than the last, but just the same, I made it through. And continuing on with my journey, I was able to, and just like
Yeah.
writing this basically like almost like as if it's a letter from the war, like writing a missive about what's gone through, and it's so charming. And like I said, it gives me hope that this could actually we would keep on this hobby
Yeah.
the entire time.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of doubts that we would, but just the same, it's kind of just reassuring sometimes to see these older folks getting into it or staying in it.
Just like if anything, it's one of those things where rather than like you just find that one, like she plays other games, yeah, but Skyrim's really the one. Like that's her go-to.
Yeah.
And like how the hobby transforms into a life that's less wanting to like explore new things. I think that's one of the things that sort of causes that sort of dissipation of enthusiasm for those things is because like you get set in your ways. Um, but it's like if you took video games and how would they be adapted into like retirement life? You know, like would you be making short stories and posting them on Reddit based on like your adventures in Skyrim, or would you be doing this or that? Like, how would you? And like, you know, there's also the factor too is like our grandparents didn't really have like YouTube streaming, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like we're starting to see this now too, where there's these avenues like uh, posting short stories and blogging and like, you know, doing YouTube videos and that weren't there before. So would that also have that participation? And we also have a generation that grew up so comfortable with technology that it wasn't an appendix to their knowledge base. It was part and parcel. It was always there. So I think like our generation, we're so used to tech that I don't know there'll be as much of a drop off, because I think a lot of our previous generation, there was a bit of a drop off in retirement, because it's like, okay, I'm retired now. I don't need to know this for work. I'm not touching Excel anymore. I'm out. But like with
Oh,
us, because it permeates our off time too.
Just retirement. Can you imagine? That's so much time to play games. So much time to play games. That's the dream. It's perfect. It's just
That's
like
the dream. Yeah.
you're an adult. You have money. You have time.
Yep.
There was time. We could play games now, and no one's around to tell you you're an adult. You're an old retired man. Knock off. I do what I want. No one talks to Grandpa. Grandpa does what he wants.
Grandpa's locked in his VR world again.
Yeah,
Damn right.
Grandpa went to his VR room with a bottle of scotch. Nobody bothered him for 5 hours.
Don't bug me.
Yeah.
Oh,
No matter what you do, do not open the door.
That's anything else on your week then, Jeff? Pretty calm and just watching old ladies play games.
That's basically it. That was my life this week. Yeah.
That sounds delightful.
Yeah. Gavin, would you like to go or myself?
I'll go quick. Baby was pretty good. Like, having fun, playing
Equally
around.
boring. So there's not a lot of where's the kid drama? What's going on?
No,
It's good to have a boring week.
Yesterday was a fussy day. Yesterday was a very fussy day. Don't
Good.
know why. Like, maybe she was gassy. We don't know, but like, the whole day was just like that fussy, like drone the entire day. Occasionally pause with a giggle, but then right back to.
What was I doing? Oh yeah, I'm angry.
Yeah, exactly. All day long. And of course, then the dog decides to chime in because he likes to howl when she does that. So that was delightful. But we still managed to have a really nice day together, all in all. But yeah, she was just extra fussy. What else? Wife and I finished a series called Brain Dead. I highly recommend it to anybody looking for something new to watch. It's really,
TV show?
really fun. Yeah, it was a mini series. I think it was 12 episodes long. And the whole premise is alien bugs are eating people's brains and taking them host and hostage for like an invasion. And it's like a satirical thing, so it's like really sort of like Shaun of the Dead kind of comedy horror thing, but super based on satire and political satire. So the epicenter of the invasion is like Capitol Hill in Washington, and it's the idea of like politicians and just like brain dead politicians who just are making weird bills and then vetoing things for no reason, and just like, but how like the aliens are using this sort of confusion to their advantage, and this sort of like, people not wanting to cross the aisle and work together, bipartisanship. Yeah, it's just beautifully written, really, really fun. It's a really clever take on this sort of like Invasion of the Body Snatchers vibe. Totally recommend that. Also finished the Uncharted series. I finished the third one off. So not the series, but the trilogy. I got the fourth one on deck. I'm gonna probably crack into it.
Oof, all the way through. That's impressive.
Yeah, finished all three of them. Third one was good, but it felt like it echoed a lot of the components from the second. But it was still an enjoyable ride. But I could see why it wasn't as well received as the second one. It had a little bit of sequelitis, but it was still really fun. And then I finished a game out of spite this week. First time ever that I can recall. Actually, no,
Hate finish.
Yeah, I haven't hate played a game in a long time. And it was Killzone Shadowfall.
Oh really?
Now, don't get me wrong. I really liked the first Killzone, and there's components of this game I really liked. But there was just some items on it I just could not get past to fully enjoy the game. It was a visually stunning piece of work.
Gorgeous game.
Yeah, but there was times where I felt like it sort of prioritized that over certain movement mechanics and just game feel and whatnot. But I wanted to see it through to the end. It wasn't also just playing it out of spite, but it was also I was really curious as to what were the components about it that were preventing my full-on enjoyment of it. Because as I said, like I really liked the first Killzone on PS2. I played that game and I really, really dug it. It had a certain like clunkiness to it, but not in a bad way, but in a like the equipment felt heavy.
Yeah, weighted, right?
Yeah, and I think that was something that really played to it. But the enemy characters seem to be burdened the same way. Where this one, I think one of the things that really got to me was the enemy characters seemed perfectly fine wielding these big heavy things, and their animations were fluid and smooth. But then when I tried to echo that, um, I found it really difficult to sort of. It felt like I had weights on my ankles and they didn't. So there was that sort of factor. But like there was just certain items about the game where I was like, okay, that might not have been a really solid choice.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be as diplomatic as possible with my not digging it. But at the end of the day, yeah, I couldn't really have fun with it. I think that's one thing that a game really needs to try to pay attention to is the enjoyment factor. Is this entertaining? And yeah, I think it might have just been one of those products where there was a lot riding on it. It was a launch title, like a console launch title, and not only that, but it was a bit of a flagship game, or not just flagship game, but flagship franchise for PlayStation in general. So I think it had a lot of stuff on its shoulders. So unfortunately, yeah, but I finished it, saw it through to the end, which
that ending sucks, by the way.
Game.
Yeah,
the ending sucks too.
The ending is not good.
Rough. And it was just like when I got to the end, I was just like, huh.
Thin. like that's
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right.
Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed uninstalling it, as harsh as that sounds.
It's a lot of hard drive space back too.
It was a lot of hard drive space. It's like my hard drive is very ready for new stuff.
Free space never felt so good.
Oh yeah, and I'm filling it right back up tonight. I just purchased 2 games this evening that I'm excited to try out. I picked up the Mortal Kombat XL because I'm in the mood for a fighting game, and I think that's a good choice. I also picked up another title called The Deadly Tower of Monsters.
And
that's a bit on the nose.
Yeah, it's kind of.
So
like
what's this game about exactly?
It's a love story
Uh-huh.
about pandas in a bamboo forest. Now,
yeah.
it's very like Plan 9, Ray Harryhausen kind of vibe to it. Like your spaceship has a string. Like you can, like all of these sort of B movie tropes from like the 60s and 70s and 80s. Even like there's dinosaur enemies that you have to fight in the game, and they're animated by way of stop motion.
Yeah.
Like it's still 3D models, but the way that they made them move is very like jagged and jittery, and like there's not a lot of smoothness to it. And like some of the other enemies look like they're just wearing like full head to toe just vinyl suit. And there was like I saw one bit where like there was a I'm sorry, my wife was watching Dancing with the Stars and they're dancing to the DuckTales theme.
Really? That's hard to do. I'm trying to. How do you even do that?
Apparently, it's TV night. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to be distracted.
No, that's great.
Literally, in my right ear is like DuckTales. That's all I hear.
And your head's just on a swivel at that point. Like, what? Where?
How are they swimming in gold coins? Like, how can you coordinate that?
They're even in costumes.
Win.
Audience, I recommend you YouTube it tomorrow. So what was I talking about? Yeah, this game, B movie, Harryhausen Wonder. I'm excited to try it out. It's kind of like a top-down beat 'em up brawler shooter sort of thing. Looks really cool, kind of like Lost in Space vibe to it. Like all sorts of. If you like that sort of genre of like classic sci-fi and stuff, apparently it's supposed to be something that you dig. So I like that stuff. I'm gonna give it a shot. So yeah, I'm excited. So yeah, those are gonna fill up the space that was currently occupied by Killzone Shadowfall. I will say though, I'm very excited for Horizon Zero Dawn, the new game by that studio.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
Mechanical dinosaur hunting.
Yeah, like
Looks so good.
my experience with Killzone hasn't in any way affected my excitement for their new project. I think if anything, the studio getting a chance to take a break from that property to focus on something new and something fresh.
That one's
I think
it's pretty soon, isn't it?
I think it's early next year.
Oh, that far out. I thought maybe it's like October. Oh, sorry, like November. I thought it was closer.
You could be right. I might be totally wrong. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong.
I hope you are. Let's get to it sooner.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of Recore, which didn't look quite as good. But
yeah, I think, and it didn't. Some of the reviews are saying it didn't quite reach its full potential. But I'm curious if maybe we do a little more reading up on that before I make any decisions. Robots, apocalypse, always fun. But yeah, that was my week in dadding and gaming.
Good. Yeah. So for mine, that's I think a good way to start it is to state emphatically that never have I or never I will I punch a little girl.
Oh, that's good. There we go. Can we get that as a soundbite? Can we just get it right there?
But darn it if I wasn't thinking about it a bunch. But darn it if I wasn't thinking of it a lot as I saw my son get beat up by one.
Oh no.
So there's we're at an event and it has a bouncy castle. Now, to our discredit, slightly more my wife's discredit, because he wasn't supposed to be in it. It's like 3 to 5, right?
Yeah.
Or like 3 to like 10. And he's won. And it's just like, what's going to happen is there's going to be bigger kids jumping around. He's going to just be a bowling ball, like bounce. It's not good. But he did pretty well. Again, and the other kids, for the most part, were very nice about it. They actually thought it was kind of fun that there's this little guy. And he's rough and tumble. So he's getting pushed around. He's kind of enjoying it. But there's this one girl, this one linebacker of a little girl. She's big, man. Like, and I saw the dad, and the dad looked like a football player. So it's a good thing I didn't punch his girl. So, among other reasons. But this girl is big. Anyways, she very purposefully started to like go after my son. Like, she would like, he's just kind of running over this way, and she'd kind of charge and like kind of get some knees into him. And then he'd go down, and she's like jumping on top of him with her knees. And it's just like, I'm like, oh, don't leave him alone. Don't do this. Like,
it sounds like a boss battle, like she's like winding up the charge and he has to get out of the way.
But it's just like, you could see for him, he was doing fine and he was laughing. He was giggling all the way. But it's like, from my perspective, I could see like the intent, and it's like, she was just kind of pushing it as far as she could. Like, how much punishment can I dole out to this little guy without causing an issue? And it was going too far. It was going too far for me, and it's just, ooh.
Welcome to the rest of your life, Trevor. Like, there is gonna be so much to do.
Man, it's just, and I'm just on the side. I'm like curling my hands. I'm just like, I can't. You don't. It's and the thing, and that's very like you're dead on, Jeff. It's just like. And specifically, I'm thinking in my head is just like, this is training.
Mm-hmm.
This is how kids do. This is what happens. I can't react, and I can't parent that other kid. And he's got to sometimes learn how to like roll with that too. So just, if anything, it was just this exercise in patience and USA, calm, don't get upset. But man. I say jokingly at the beginning as far as like hitting little girls, but as far as I wasn't sure. The first time I've certainly felt kind of dad rage in that happening, where you want to like run in and do something. And I'm trying to imagine now, this is going to be a theme, right? Like throughout his whole life, if let's say he plays soccer or hockey, and some other big kid like takes him down. Like you need to exercise that calm and that restraint. Like it's not appropriate to get riled up about that, I don't think.
Yeah, I could see that when he's older. When he's one,
we can come in, but like when I was supposed to like march in there and scream, and the additional problem too is I was already in a bad position because he's not supposed to be in there.
Yeah, he couldn't have said anything that.
Oh, you should hit my kid. Like, well, why is your 1-year-old doing in this thing? Like,
right?
Well, just which honestly was actually one of the bigger reasons I didn't want him in there. It's not so much because I would be worried about him. It's like he's gonna if he hits his eye, whatever. Like that's like him. He gets injured all the time. That's how it rolls. But it's more just like you're putting him into a situation he's not supposed to be in. So now if something happens, it's on you. You know, like, and there's no drawback.
You threw him in the lion's den with all the other gladiators that go around.
At the beginning, no one else was in there, and just started to fill up with kids.
Yeah,
and with each kid, it was just a notch on my anxiety. And then as linebacker girl came in,
that was it.
It was just, oh no.
Was there were you not able to hit like the abort button and just pull them out when like things got too hairy?
That's hard to do in a bouncy castle. I've had to climb in.
A little bit of that. Firstly, he's like just bouncing around. Secondly, he's having a great time. Although again, like, it's kind of like the finding the right time in the escalation, because eventually if the girl does push too far and now he gets hurt, like how does that feel? But the wife was also filming it. She's laughing. It seemed like the whole rest of the world was having a fantastic time, as I'm having this like quintessential meltdown in my own psyche about anger, but like trying to have calm and like trying to teach myself to remain resolute in this situation. Like it was,
there's a panning shot to like, this is fun, and then just like
just like marching on the spot, just like biting my nails off.
Can't.
So I did not. So never have and never will I punch a little girl. But oof, if I wasn't tested.
You passed your first real world test. Like this is the start.
Yeah, it's good for you.
I get nervous when the wife is pushing baby in the swing. They like to go high.
Woo!
Go around.
I think it's on the roof of the school. Oh nuts.
I know everything's safe. And like baby's laughing, mama's laughing, but dad's on the side, just like everything's clenched.
Every single muscle.
Everything's clenched. My gallbladder is doing sit-ups. Everything's clenched.
Oh man, but so in talking of the games, I mean to some surprise, I guess before we got rolling, I'd mentioned that I didn't play No Man's Sky this week. And it's not the honeymoon's not over. I'm still curious, still enjoying it, but it was a killer week with work. Just busy, and it wasn't that; it was just other stuff to do. So there was some game time, but it was super minute. We're talking like there's these little windows amongst it, at max an hour, more like 20 minutes to 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And the problem is, like, I was almost finding like I was wasting, I think, up to 10 minutes before I started playing anything, with just indecision, like nervous. Not nervous is too strong a word, but like, just put into inaction. Just
you're
paralyzed as far as like I have so little time. Like, what thing am I going to play? And in thinking of No Man's Sky, it's just like that is a drop of time into an infinite sea of an infinite ocean of hours, and it'll mean nothing. It'll still be good, but like there's other things to maybe do.
Yeah.
So I mean, the things that I fell back to were Overwatch, because those are couple quick matches, and it's kind of like practice, and that's still a lot of fun. And those are like 5-10 minute matches. So that's like bing bing. Okay, that felt good. Get out of there. And the other one was Alone with You, because you were able to kind of finish off one segment. Like, so there's always each almost like episode or day kind of revolves around one person.
Yeah.
In that kind of exploration. I did try to imagine for the viewers, it's Alone with You. It's space geez, I'm not sure, like space adventure game. You going around and you're visiting holograms and the sites of a wrecked colony, gathering data. That data then translates into a experience in a holodeck with the person who had been part of that particular wreckage. Whichever place you go to, that's who you talk to that night. And so that kind of segments it really nicely, and that takes up, like 10 to 20 minutes. So that's great. That breaks it up nicely. I'll say one thing is that it's very Metrovania, in the sense that very much like Metroid, where you go up to one section, it's locked. You go over to another section. Hey, you got this thing. Now you can open this. So you go back up to that section. You can open it, which gives you a key. So you can go down to the third section, and now you can open that. I'm not finding that game very conducive to fatherhood, where it's
where it tests your memory. You're like, I don't know.
The memory's fine. It's just like the time waste. If I can put it in that way, it's because you walk 6 corridors to the left to get to the thing. It's like, oh, you don't have the key. So you walk 6 back, then you walk 6 over. Hey, you got the key. And then you walk 6 over, and then you walk 6 over, and now you got inside of it. Then you go 6 back, and you know what I mean? Like it's in and of itself, and because the game is so beautiful, like it alleviates it to the point of still being enjoyable. But that type of game where it's all that backtracking is kind of grinding me a bit, especially the last week when I have so little time. It's just like, okay, now go back through the corridor. Like,
okay, I guess I don't really have time to shoot rocks, but like Overwatch, like in that little bit of time you have, it's like, yeah, I can get a lot done, or I can have a lot of conclusive experiences. It's the amount of interactivity you need to execute in order to reach a particular conclusion, and how many of those conclusions can you squeeze into the time allotted. Like with No Man's Sky, to get the same number of sort of peaks of like, I hit a conclusion, yay. Like you need to play it for a couple hours. But like on Overwatch, if you can get that same number of like, hey, I accomplished something, the round is done and I did all right. You can get those same numbers in like 20 minutes as opposed to like 2 hours. So it's that rate of return in regards to like, how much time do I need to invest to see a return on that investment in reward of just finishing a level or finishing a match or finishing this or that. So yeah, I could see like even with Alone with You is very much a lot of walking around. And yeah, it's like it's there to sort of echo the kind of desolate, derelict void of this old colony, but
yeah,
like,
so it's usually, I don't feel like it's
time doing it.
I don't feel like it's extending itself or it's wasting my time. Like I wouldn't use that as a criticism. It's more just, I think it's used in effectively just to, yeah, like you said, just further drive home that loneliness, that isolation. Like, good God, I am the only person on this planet and it is gone to pot. Like, this is bad. And like,
but when you're seeing those minutes tick away every single time you watch a door animate, open or closed, you're like, I don't have time for this.
It's like, yes, I know, like the key, it's down there. Just get me to the place. I know it's there.
The best part of it,
fast travel. Just give me fast travel.
You should pause like in between, and then you have to leave, and then come back. You're like, oh my God, what was I doing? And you have to backtrack the other way, and you're like, no, I've been here.
Yeah, there's one in a moment of and a not proud moment. I had there's a password you need to find, and obviously there was these posters around, and you had to patch together the certain words and then put it like that. That spelled out a password.
Yep.
With my knowledge of passwords, I did not include spaces. So I put it in what seemed like the obvious answer. It's like, oh, that's not it. And I'm like, okay. So at that point now, I'm this guy and I have to walk around all over the place, like 50 screens, 20 doors, trying to reseat, and it's all the same stuff. And I'm like, this is the only thing it could be, unless it's like being super abstract. Like I literally Googled it. I tried to find a walkthrough because I'm like, I know I can solve this. I don't have time. I need to move forward. And then finally, I'm like, okay, wait, did they include? Was it a password with spaces in it? Are you telling me it was a password with spaces? And then, yep, it was. So it was just like, I wasted that time.
It's not the game; it's the user.
Yeah. User error. In the future, they allow spaces in passwords.
They do.
I was just, I was so livid with myself at that point. Just like, that was a lot of time, man. It's so precious. I have so little time.
I know the one you mean too, because I put it in as one word too, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's just spaces. And then I did that.
Fuck, I should have just messaged you, like
what is
Jeff?
Wait,
Gavin, what's a password? Come on,
give me the notes. Give me the code just to get around this. Just
no handouts. No handouts.
Come on, help a dad out.
I need the Gavin DLC. Give me it. $149 will cost you.
Yeah, each tip it's the Gavin tip line.
It's like the old school tip line, yeah, from Nintendo.
$5 a minute.
Yeah.
Welcome to
never called one of those. Never.
Gavin tip line. In the game. Gavin, I know you're there. I can hear your wife in the background. Just tell me.
I don't have time for this.
Dad, go on. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that about some of the week. Just the and otherwise, he's now graduated to the toddler room at daycare from the infant room. Did I make that announcement last week?
It was still about to happen.
Okay, so this is it.
So he's got left him in. He's coming.
Yeah, everyone's the smallest one.
Get ready.
He's the youngest kid in there, but these ones seem pretty well behaved. Oh, actually, no, never mind. Another girl came and stole an egg from him this morning.
An egg, like a hard-boiled egg, like an egg.
It's an egg toy, like one of those.
He stole his food, just like yoink.
There's this big bowl of it, and he goes and grabs one. This girl comes over and just like takes it. I'm like, what is with you and ladies? Like, you're having the same issues I had. None of them like you.
Just take. Why don't you just give?
Must be like some sort of family pheromone.
Yeah, these guys are easy. Take them for granted.
Yeah.
Take everything they got.
I do have a proud moment this week. I haven't been able to say this in a very long time, but I beat my wife at Tetris.
Oh yeah,
Glorious.
Perfect.
It was amazing. It was good. It was so great.
Just
I also realized that that's a sentence that you need to finish.
Yep.
Because if you don't get those last two words in, it sounds really wrong.
Yeah.
Horrific.
Yeah.
So.
Is that on the PS4 version with all like the crazy
special
effects,
glow colors? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But the battle mode in that one's pretty decent because you can fire lines over to each other and stuff.
Yeah.
So I finally won a round.
Yes. In your face.
Not a gracious victory at all. You're just like, whoa.
There was no shame.
15 years.
And like I almost contemplated like never agreeing to play again.
Oh, just end on that note. That's it.
No, that's wrong. So I'll still play because it's fun. But that happened. So just needed to brag.
Proud moment. I like that segment. Good dad.
Proud moment. Proud moment.
I wasn't able to get my
against my wife in video games.
I wasn't able to get Carolina into Alone with You. I think she might have if I had tried a little bit harder to get her to sit through the first bit, because I think she would have gotten into some of the story parts, especially when the people start coming up and would have started to get intrigued in the story.
Like the actual like the hologram sequences.
Yeah, or even before that, like as it starts to talk, and any of the things where it just discusses the character dynamics, I think she would have gotten into. But I think it just came down to another video game. I don't know. I'm not quite interested. So I'm curious about when
See sorry, when I picture trying to sit my wife down to play a video game, I think like a Clockwork Orange. Like I have to like make her eyes just stare and
Sit down.
just watch it.
Enjoy the frame rates.
Look at all those
Puts the
effects.
controller in its hands.
Yeah.
But I'm curious if we can do for The Thief's End. So I was going to say less. I'm trying to think of the name of this series. Like
What game?
The Thief's End. It's Drake. Is
Oh,
it Drake? Nathan Drake. Uncharted. Thank you.
Yeah.
I know there's another word in there.
Thief's End. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I was wondering if I can get into number 4 because that's man,
There's a
that
lot of
game's
killing.
beautiful.
Does she like killing? There's a lot of killing.
Yeah, that'd be those in between sequences might be tough. It might be the type of thing where maybe she's there on the phone.
The intro will hook her, if anything.
Yeah,
Like
and
not
then
to give anything away, but the intro will. Yeah.
So she's there, and then for the shooty sequence,
Yeah, just go away.
she pull out her phone, like just kind of not pay attention, and then like follow along with the story.
Yeah.
So one of the things for games I wanted to mention is actually I decided to not finish Uncharted. Wait,
What?
not that one. Wrong game. Lost Cause 3.
Just Cause. It's
Yeah.
I like how the game.
It's a lost cause.
You renamed Lost Cause.
Wait, it's not Just Cause. Son of a. Well, now see, I was just speaking my true heart.
It's just a
Lost
Freudian
Cause.
slip. It's a for lost cause.
Oh wow!
Didn't mean to say it. It
That
is.
was so wonderful.
Man, and delivers such like
It was
certainty
perfect.
too. I thought for sure
Confidence.
it's Lost Cause. Oh, I'm tired. Just Cause 3.
Yes.
I'm not gonna beat it.
No.
I'm done.
That's kind of a sandbox game anyway, right? You can come back to it.
Oh, I suppose, man, but it's just like we went through a huge sequence, a ton of difficult fights, big, huge set pieces, and then it's like, okay, now liberate more towns. It's like, well, it's kind of a letdown after all of that. And actually, I got in, and I was flying around. I'm stealing cars. I'm jetting through the sky. Everything's like a lot of fun, as it would be. But I get to the town I have to liberate, and it's like 20 items I got to do. One is like hopping around the roofs very awkwardly, trying to like turn off signal jammers like within a time period, and then find a
Was that
billboard
the town that had the 2 towers with the bridges between them?
maybe one of those. So
It
it
had one of those rooftop hops, and it was just like that one took me forever, and I hated doing that one.
but even just the thought, like it said, like in order to continue the story, you have to liberate like 2 more provinces, which includes like 3 towns each.
Yeah.
And it's just like I'm that's fine. I'm done. That's okay. Like I have
Your Presidente is not too
Yeah.
bad. It's okay.
sorry, you dear island people. You will not be liberated because I got bored. That's just there's so many other things to play. Like there's so many other games I want to get to. I have both of the infamous games locked and loaded. I have there's a Gravity Rush.
Yeah.
I got Gravity Rush. I've wanted to play that game ever since it was on the other console. I went Xbox route initially, so I missed it. Didn't have the Vita or it for whatever system initially came out with. So I've wanted that game for a long time. There's a bunch on Steam that I got, and it came time to liberate like 9 other cities. And it's like dad time. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I'm not enjoying it enough to bother, and I got a lot of stuff to get to. So cheers.
I finished it, but I think I was in a bit of a game drought then as well. So like, what was good about that game is that those little 20-minute intervals, I could liberate a town or 2, and that was how I did that. But like to spend a 2-hour play session just liberating provinces would be repetitive. But like, yeah, so if you're looking for something other than Overwatch to fill in a 20-minute void, that's usually a good thing to do. But also, if you never feel like playing it again, whatever.
I don't know. Maybe one of those things I pick up when for some reason I'm left alone for an afternoon and I just have a bunch of time. Like, maybe I'll dip back into it, but
Just delete it now. You're so indecisive. Just delete it. So it's one last choice on your list.
I say I get cravings to play Just Cause 2 more than playing Just Cause 3. Like I keep every so often like I gotta boot up that Xbox. I gotta play some Just Cause 2. There's just something about it that kept pulling me back. So, and unfortunately, I just don't think Just Cause 3 hit that mark. It's still a good game, but didn't have that sort of like almost like a cult following that Just Cause 2 had. Just Cause 2, like with the multiplayer mod on Steam and all that, like that game was just it was their opus. It was so good. I think they just raised the bar too much on themselves. That third one just hard to meet it.
Fizzled.
So.
Man, it's like it is. That place is so impressive, though. Like that sandbox.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it is remarkable. I have never seen something so big and gorgeous. Like it, and all the little towns are so detailed and varied.
Play the second one?
No, is it bigger?
It's around the same size. The one thing I did really enjoy about the second one is there seemed to be more variety in geography. Because there was everything from like tropical island coast to like snow crested peaks. And you could transition from the two, and there was like more forested areas and stuff. The towns and cities didn't quite have that visual variety. They felt a little cardboard boxy, but the second one just had a better variety of like ecosystems. So it might not have like just sheer kilometers wise, it might not have been as vast as the third one. The third one's probably bigger just because they have to, because it's the third. But the second one just had this sort of sense of this is a full country with like different climates and elevations and stuff. So it really, really had a great sense of that. Like the map design and everything just hit that note, where this one, everything felt a little samey. Like it was all like Mediterranean vibe, which was beautiful, but it was all Mediterranean. But the other one, like it had like sort of like a Nepal area and like a more of like a Burma area, and then like a Thailand area. Like it had all these areas that sort of made sense in a like a Pacific Island sort of area, East Asia sort of geography, but all of that would encompass in one small tiny island region. So the second one had a little bit more variety in that sense, so it made it more fun to explore. But yeah, I'm gonna go play that game now.
You're gonna go back and play that tonight, guarantee it.
Yep.
We can do right after this podcast.
Yeah.
So, and then speaking of that, perhaps we could swing around to our beer picks for the week.
Yeah. Jeff, what were you?
Let's go. Basic again this week. I'm just on a Keith's. I got nothing this week. There's nothing special. This was on sale. I actually did all my bottle returns.
Ooh.
And got this for free. So.
Got enough for a video game.
So, like, what's your average stockpile? Like when you do
of bottles?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, how much do you save up before you do the return?
Quite a bit. Actually, embarrassing. Like a lot.
Did you get a free case of beer, Jeff?
Yeah, I did. So quite a bit. Yeah. Okay. So I have like an Outback, right? So Subaru Outback, and that trunk, which is almost wagon-like, was stuffed. So I wait a long time to do that.
That's impressive.
Right.
So,
but it has more meaning that way. Like when you do it, you're just like,
I don't know.
It's like the old arcade, like the tickets you get off like the skee ball.
Yeah.
I'm getting a skateboard today.
I need to save up for this. I need to add it to the collection.
Yeah, I'm not getting some pencil eraser chump prize. I'm saving up, and I'm gonna walk in there like a boss and get the skateboard.
I want
50 pounds of tickets.
Yeah. You should see everyone roll their eyes when I come in, though. It's great.
Are you that guy?
I'm that
When you
guy.
come in, like,
Well, I mean, the
just
genius thing that they did finally at the beer store was to separate the two. So they have like the beer, like the bottle return line,
yeah,
and then they have like the buy
Yeah.
beer line. And thank God for that. Except
Yeah.
for the guy behind you who has like 6 bottles. He's like, oh, just
Yeah.
take them.
I luck out because every time I come in, like I average maybe like a couple cases because we only have a finite amount of space for me to stockpile. If I had the room and the cargo capacity in my car, I would probably save up mainly for just the fun of cashing in all those chips at once. But when I go in with like my pretty, you know, modest return, the people ahead of me who have like the station wagon load
Yeah.
are usually like, "Oh, just go ahead. I'm still busy."
Yeah. Well, I'll chalk it up to lazy. I won't say I'm saved up. It's just
I'll go with excitement. You like a little excitement in your life. That's okay.
there you
You
go.
hit that point where the wife is just like, "Okay, honey."
It was
It's
it was a rainy day on Saturday, and that was my job, was to clean out the garage of bottles, which was good. Now I have so much more room to fill it up
Yeah.
again.
with bottles.
Do you have like a spot on the floor that has like a little tape? And, like just put like tape on the floor, and it's like this is the area because you know that area of floor space, if it's just beer cases of
Yes,
empties,
it should be a measure. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like okay, that is the capacity of my car.
Right.
Well, that too. I just think like every little tape line could be a dollar representation. Well,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
tape
yeah.
line is $10, and this tape line is $20.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
tape line is free beer.
yeah.
Make a little
Yes.
game out of it. A level system. Perfect.
It's like, hey, I got a Tetris. It's a 2-4.
Skipping all the way to the beer store.
Yeah. No,
I don't know if you can
that's
skip with that many bottles, but yeah, but no, we get the point.
that was me.
Clang, clang, smash.
That's the So
Oh yeah, my
I mentioned before. I don't like negativity.
Tetris.
I don't like not liking things. Because I like to think it's maybe just taste. But I actually poured this beer down the drain. I didn't finish it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just. This was bad. I mean,
I've
for
been there.
myself. What bothers me now is now I look at. So I'm looking at. I didn't take down the name of it. I only took down the brewer. I only took down the name. So looking for it, I found it on Untapped, and people have rated it like 4 out of 5 caps. Like people are loving it. So it's like me. So it's like it must be just myself. But it's so from Nickelbrock Brewing, it's raspberry uber.
That sounds disgusting. What are you talking about?
It was just it tasted like there's 2 comparisons. It kind of tasted like somebody took like raspberry cough syrup and just poured it into beer.
Yeah,
Or-
it's like a side
or they-
lunch.
Say don't. Literally the next beer I had after this one was a side launch, so I could have a good,
Cleanse it.
delicious beer.
Of course he did.
You can wash his
Literally.
raspberry out like
Quite
that.
honest. No, so the cough syrup thing's not quite right. I mean, it's more like there was just this tart raspberry concentrate that they just put into a wheat beer.
It's like somebody roofied pint with a Jolly Rancher.
Oh, but man, Jolly Rancher has a bunch of sugar. There was not a hint of sweetness to it. It was just all the tartness of raspberries, none of the
So-
sweetness, and it was just like I was like my
If the
face was like
brewery got like a case of underripe raspberries, and they're like, "What are we gonna do with these?" And it's like, "I don't know, just make some microbrew beer. We'll sell it to the handlebar mustache crowd. They'll be fine. They'll love it."
man, it must have been it because just it. I don't know what's up to like. How is everyone rating it so high? There's a lot of like out of almost 3,000 people have rated this beer, and it is
They're all paid.
3,000 people paid, and the average is 4 out of 5.
Well,
Man, I'm trying to see. I want to find somebody's review here.
maybe they just drank a lot before and then were given this beer.
Tart
So-
but decent dessert beer. Tart, almost sour raspberry taste. Not bad. Lots of raspberry, pleasantly tart, easy to enjoy. Not super sour, easy drinking. Like maybe I drank it too cold. Like I needed to
No.
warm up a bit.
Oh,
Sounds gross.
if you didn't like the flavor cold,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
It's only going downhill from there, man.
I cannot recall many times in my beer drinking history where I've actually just poured it down the drain because I couldn't finish it. But oof, this is too much. Did not enjoy. Cannot recommend. I'm afraid.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
I
wouldn't
know.
have probably picked it up myself.
Yeah, I got it. So I literally there in LCBO they're selling these mystery bags.
What?
So yeah, I was like, I should have known better. But it's like 4 beers for whatever price, just mystery bag, craft mystery bag. And I'm just a sucker for that type of thing because I want to try new stuff. So I'm like, all right. And this is one of
That's all the cases they've broken and just shoved into a bag, and some
they
idiot's gonna buy it.
or that is rotten,
liquor
or
store
they could sell.
have that basket in the beer section. You know that basket where it's like they're all individually priced.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the dollar store bin of like, and it's in the LCBO.
No, this is
They
at the
basically
front.
bagged that, and then just wrote a number on the front.
And wrote
That
mystery.
with the word craft, and never,
Yeah.
morons like me will be like, ooh, craft. Must taste great.
Micro craft brew.
So Mr. Craft didn't work out. Cannot recommend.
Well, that's kind of the mystery though. It's like now you're gonna want to go and try to find the good one. So you're gonna get another bag.
It can't be bad twice in a row, right?
Exactly. It's just a bag full of the raspberry one.
Nothing but them. Gavin, yourself.
Picked up a Red Racer IPA.
Oh yeah.
Trying to angle the can. Yeah, whatever. It's can. You can see it. There it is. It's by Central City Brewers. And yeah, it was good. It was hoppy. Strong ale. So like for like a regular pint, it was 6.5. So I didn't read that till now. And I was pretty tired when I started it. So you're welcome. No, it was good. It was a nice sort of hoppy, mildly bitter IPA. Good sort of meatiness to it. Like I'm satisfied. I'm not really feeling like another, which is good because I don't have another. But yeah, no, it was good. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Meaty.
I wouldn't add raspberry to it.
No.
There's very few things you'd add raspberry to, and that's okay. So now banana and cloves, and then you're talking.
No, never.
Never.
All the time.
You're basically out of my beer.
Everybody, thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can find us on our website at newdadgaming.com. You can send us comments, questions, or show suggestions. The podcast itself is up on iTunes as well as Google Podcasting Service and many other podcasting services that you have. We're on Twitter and Facebook. Otherwise, do this show weekly and would love for you to subscribe, like, and spread it around. Everybody, thanks so much for listening. Until next week, my name is Trevor, and I have a 1-year-old.
My name is Gavin, and I have a 1-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I got a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Great. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good day.
See ya.
Bye.